I love how Sonic Movie 3 has been out of the theaters for a few months, but we're still getting new merch like this movie collection. I think this is available only at Macy's. I mean, that's the only place that I can find this or have seen people finding it. My buddy Bryce actually ended up grabbing this for me when he was at one of his stores because 2 of my Macy's locations are closing down, so I have like no store that's even close to me. But on top of this, we're also getting like that big jumbo Sonic plush that I showed you guys from GameStop. Macy's also has a jumbo Shadow plush, which obviously I can't get just yet. And then we also have like the Super Shadow and Super Sonic figures, which are hitting like Walmart and Target stores. But this is the movie collection set exclusive to Macy's right now. $20 is that price point. I'll tag this and the rest of the products down below in the little tagged area. But right now, you can only get Gerald Robotnik and Super Shadow in the 2.5-inch form from this set. Gerald's actually probably like 3 inches, but who's counting? This is also a re-release of Sonic the Buzz Bomber and the Burrito drone, which is so awesome that they decided to sculpt this as a figure. Now, this is the second movie collection that they released. The first one is a Target exclusive. It has Agent Stone, the Master Emerald, Super Sonic, and Shadow. Well, let's start with the figures that I do have. Here is the Buzz Bomber. Now, nothing too crazy about this, just some little baby articulation here at the head, but all in all, it does come with a nice clear stand. Paint applications look really good. Nothing too much more to say about it. It is a cool little display piece, and I'm happy that we're getting multiples of these in different sets because this is pretty much a cool army builder. Here's my first Buzz Bomber that was included in that 5-pack with Knuckles, Sonic, Shadow, and that little egg drone thing, but pretty much the exact same thing, and you can take this baby off the stand if you wanted to. The same thing can be said about Sonic. It is a re-release, nothing too new about it. It does have your standard articulation, so we have like a hinge and a swivel here, so I can bring that arm forwards, backwards, up, and down. They do have a static pose right here at the hand, so kind of like a little bit of an open palm right here. Same thing on this hand as well. And as far as his legs go, same type of deal, hinges and swivels, so you can bring them forwards and backwards. You can get them in a running position, which is extremely crucial for Sonic because he is the fastest hedgehog alive. And you can take this leg, flip it on around, and break it if you wanted to, but bring it right back in. There is also little pinholes on the bottom of his shoes, so if you have something to stand him on, then you can do so. And now the last area of articulation is going to be at the head, just a basic little swivel joint, so it can move his head all the way around if you really wanted to. And like I said, this is the third version of this Sonic figure that I have, so we'll just put him in there with the rest of his family. Wow, I can't believe that worked out first try. But here is the Burrito drone, and this is such a cool little piece, but also kind of disturbing. I mean, if you kind of really look at it. But I mean, how else would you sculpt a leaking burrito on a drone? So this is nonetheless such a cool piece, and I'm so happy that we have this. You can see the aluminum foil all the way around on the burrito and just the leaking contents on the front of the drone. This is also on a stand, no articulation, you can just pop it off just like so. But this is probably like my second favorite piece from this entire set because it's just so unique, and we'll always look back on the Burrito drone. Before we finish with Shadow, let's take a look at Gerald. Now, 5-pack figures are perfect for characters like this because he's not the most popular character, and if he was a single release, he's most likely to sit on the shelves a lot longer than, say, Shadow. But nonetheless, I still want the figure, and so if we're able to get it within a 5-pack, including a major character, then I think that's the way to go. Now, Jakks Pacific does a really good job as far as like value for price, so for $20, this is a pretty solid sculpt of Gerald. I mean, it gets the point across. He does have that nice iconic mustache. He does have a little badge at his front pocket, and it says Doctor on it. And then as far as his paint apps go for his eyes, pretty basic, but it definitely gets the point across that this is Gerald. Despite being such a small figure, accuracy was definitely taken serious, and because of that, he is a little bit harder to stand in an upright position. So basically all you have to do is like lean him back just a smidge, and now he can hold a standing pose. And what's really cool is his lab coat is a softer type of plastic, so it'll move with the legs because he does have that articulation like those basic hinges and swivels like Sonic and Shadow, so you can bring the legs upwards and you can get him in a sitting position. So if you have like diorama pieces or like, you know, some sort of stage or setup, then you can put him at different stations if you wanted to. And he even has sculpted details to the bottom of his shoes. He does have that basic articulation at the arms, so because of his sculpt, you can bring him up about 90 degrees, and then there is a swivel so you can rotate them around. And if you look closely, he even has a sculpted watch right there, which is definitely a nice touch. His last area of articulation is going to be at the head, just your basic swivel, and you can spin it all the way around. This Super Shadow looks incredible. As far as I know, this is the only set you can get him in super form at this 2.5-inch figure line. So that's a big deal because I feel like these are going to go pretty fast, no pun intended. But I feel like a character as popular as Super Sonic and Super Shadow, especially in Sonic Movie 3, they're bound to re-release him to some degree. But the question is when. I've been super impressed by the sculpting on not only these 2.5-inch figures, but the 5-inch ones as well, because it's a good combination between the movie Sonic Shadow and then also like the game version as well. So it can really work for any type of thing that you're setting up, like whether it's toy photography or like a diorama or whatever. But his coloration looks incredible. It is extremely accurate, especially compared to like the classic form, which I'll show you here in just a second. But I love the coloration to the spikes. His sculpting is so good here at his shoes too. His articulation should be no surprise at this point, so swivel at the head. Arms, you can bring them up a good amount because it does have that hinge and swivel there. And the same type of thing is going on with those legs. You can get him in a nice running position. But what's really cool is because he does have that pinhole at the bottom of his air shoes, you could take the Burrito drone's stand, put it to the bottom of this, and you can kind of get him in a floating, super flying form. I mean, that looks pretty cool, all things considered. As promised, let's do some comparisons. So here is the standard movie version of Shadow. No big difference other than just he's in super form. It's the same sculpt. Now this is the main line of Jakks figures, the Super Shadow. Now you can see this is a slightly smaller figure ringing in at 2 inches, but the coloration is completely different. And that is something that we've noticed from the beginning of this main line. Not only this, but like the 4-inch figures as well. The coloration is not completely spot on, and you can see that here. So it is really nice that the Sonic Movie 3 Super Shadow is completely updated and accurate. And you know, while we're here, let's throw in the 5-inch movie figure as well. This is the light-up version. I have not found the single-carded release of Shadow. I know people are finding it right now. It's just been so hard for me to track down, so I'm hoping to eventually find it. However, I was lucky enough to find Super Sonic at one of my Walmarts, so extremely happy about that. But that's all I got for you with this video. The brand new Sonic Movie 3 movie collection set. 5 figures, $20, exclusive to Macy's as far as I know, and it's in stock right now as I'm filming this. So get them while they're hot because the Ancient Stone set from Target is sold out right now, and who knows if they're gonna bring that back. But I hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, be sure to like and subscribe. Helps out the channel, lets me know that I'm doing a good job. And make sure you connect with me on Instagram and TikTok to stay up to date when new things drop, like the rest of our Sonic Movie 3 merch and anything else Sonic related. I also post toy photography, toy videos, and a lot of vintage items. Things you might not see here on YouTube. Until then, collectors, I'll see y'all in the next video.